Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, welcome to Leisure Gaming. I am Leisure. Today we're going to take a look at the newest archetype that has hit MasterDuel, Canine. Now if you're unfamiliar with Canines, Canine is a rank 5 focus deck where each of the main monsters have some very cool effects. Because Canine is level and rank 5 heavy, it works well with Kryshon and Vanquish Soul, but we're not going to be talking about those decks today. We're going to be looking at something different. If you've been following along with a lot of my deck profiles, I tend to play decks slightly different, and today we're going to take a look at Canine Runick. To start with the deck profile, we have all of our hand traps at the top row. We have the Max C, 3 Ash Blossom, 2 Perulia, 2 Fualos. And you can adjust your Perulia and Fualos however you see fit. I'm actually thinking about dropping them to 1 because I don't like having them in my hand when I'm starting to duel and I'm going first. The first canine that we're going to talk about is Canine 17 Azuna, and all of the canines except for Lupus has the same first effect where if your opponent has 2 or more cards in their hand, you can normal summon this card without tributing. During the main phase, if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or the graveyard, you can then quick effect and special summon this card from your hand. And if this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Canine card from your deck to the graveyard except Canine Azuna. Normally, you'd want to send Lupus, but you can also send any of the others depending on the situation that you have going on. Next, we have 2 Canine Jokel or Yokel depending on the pronunciation of who you're listening to. You can reveal this card and one other level 5 monster in your hand, special summon both, but they cannot be used as material to Xyz summon a light monster. During the main phase, you can add one non-aqua canine monster from your deck to your hand. Next are 3 Lantern, and this is another card that you can definitely adjust. You can probably drop this to either 2 or 1. You can only use each of the following effects once per turn. If this card is in your hand, you can target one level 5 non-pyro canine monster in your graveyard and special summon both, but they cannot be used as material for Xyz summon of a light monster. During your main phase, you can add one canine spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And you only have 3 spells, but you're primarily going to be looking for a canine case, which we'll definitely talk about later. Next, we have Lupus, and this is the card I've mentioned before that does not have the effect where you can normal summon this card if your opponent has 2 or more cards in hand. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects. You can only use the effect once per turn. During the main phase, if your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard, you can special summon this card from your hand or graveyard or banish it when it leaves the field. During your opponent's turn, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, Xyz summon using this card you control. This is a great effect because it doesn't just limit you to your Canine Xyz. You can go into any other Xyz if you can cause that disruption on your opponent's turn. Next are 3 Noroi, and this is an important card to definitely have at 3. This can definitely be a 1-card starter for you. If this card is normal summoned, you can special summon 1 machine canine monster from your deck, but you cannot special summon from the extra deck except canine monsters while you control this face-up monster. You can send 1 canine card you control to the graveyard and then look at your opponent's hand. You normally won't use that last effect, but everything else will go along right with it. Obviously, since I'm playing the Canine Runick, we definitely have to have our 1 Runick field spell. I'm not going to go too much into the other Runicks because we already know what those do. Next, we have a case for Canine, which I've mentioned before. When this card is activated, you can add 1 canine monster from your deck to your hand. Canine monsters you control gain 900 attack during any turn in which your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard. And if this card is destroyed, you can then set 1 canine quick spell from your deck or graveyard. We have the 1 Call by the Grave to try and take out any of the hand traps that are listed at the top. And now we're going to the Runick package. Like I said, we're not going to go too far into these because we already know what these do, but we're going to go 2 Runick Tips, 3 Runick Flashing Fire, 1 Runick Destruction, 2 Runick Freezing Curses, 2 Runick Slumber, 1 Smiting Storm, 1 Golden Droplet, and 1 Dispelling. That is pretty much it. And if you wanted to make room for anything else, like I said, you can drop your Fualos or Perulia to try and make more room for Runick cards if you want. The only ones that you would want to have extra of would be these 3, the Dispelling, Droplet, and Storm. Next, we have 1 Canine LC Release Restraint. You can target 1 canine Xyz monster or 1 rank 5 Xyz monster you control, especially summon from your extra deck 1 canine Xyz monster with a different name, by using that monster you control. At the end of the battle phase, if your canine monster battled this turn, you can then set this card from your graveyard. This is why you only really need 1. And last, we have 1 canine X-Force Release. During the main phase, target 1 canine monster you control, special summon from your extra deck 1 canine monster with a different name by using that monster you control. Then you can destroy 1 card your opponent controls. At the end of the battle phase, if your canine monster battled, you can then set this card from your graveyard. Once again, another reason why we only need the 1. Going into the extra deck, we have the next 3 cards that complete the Runick package. We have 1 Hugin, 1 Gary, and 1 Frecky. You definitely want to use Frecky, not only because it's a dog, but because it has 5 stars, and that 5 stars allows you to get into your Xyz a lot quicker, especially if you don't open properly. Next, we have one number 104 Masquerade. During the battle phase, when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation. If you do, inflict 800 damage to your opponent. Normally, you're not going to be using Masquerade as a monster on the field, but you're going to be using it as Xyz material. That way you can special summon. Normally, you're not going to be using Masquerade as the main monster to attack with. You're actually going to be using it as material because you're going to special summon the Umbral Horror Masquerade. When this card is special summoned, you can then target one spell or trap card on the field and destroy that target. Now, if this card has 104 Masquerade as material, it gains the following effect. Once per turn, when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's field, you can attach one material from this card and negate the activation. Then you can send one random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard, and if you do, have your opponent's life points. Next, we have one Nash Knight. Once again, this is also another card that's not going to be primarily staying on the field for too long. It's also going to be material for your Horror Masquerade. During the main phase, you can attach two materials from this card, attach one number Xyz monster from your extra deck that is between 101 and 107, which is going to be your 104 Masquerade. Continuing on with the Canine package, we have two Canine Ripper, and if you wanted to put this at 3, you could probably drop the Superstar Slayer. You can attach one material from this card, add one Canine card from your deck to your hand. Then if your opponent has activated a monster effect this turn, you can then set one Canine quick play spell from your deck or your graveyard. Now, when your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or the graveyard, you can attach one material from this card and negate that effect. Next, we have one Canine Hound, and you don't actually need Hound. I just wanted to keep more canines in the deck for myself. You can choose any other level 5 Xyz that you prefer. This card cannot be destroyed by battle or your opponent's card effects to turn it is special summon. Each time your opponent activates a monster effect, this card gains 500 attack when that effect resolves. Once per turn, during the standby phase, you can attach one material from this card, then target one card on the field and banish it. Next, we have one Canine Jax. If this card is Xyz summoned, or if your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard, you can attach one material from this card, then target one card on the field and destroy it. You can only use the effect once per turn. A Canine monster that has this card as material gains the following effect. During any turn in which your opponent has activated a monster effect in the hand or graveyard, any battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent is double. Next, we have one Xyz Nash Knight. You can attach one material from this card to special summon from your extra deck one number Xyz monster between 101 and 107, which is going to be your Horror Masquerade. That's how you climb into it. But then you have to destroy it during your opponent's next end phase. But if you have Hugin on the field, you can actually use Hugin's effect to try and bypass that destruction. Or if you have the quick play spell release on the field, you can actually activate that and target your Horror Masquerade that's on the field, and then you can go into one of your other Canine Xyz. Next, we have one Canine X Werewolf, and I'm definitely thinking about putting this up to 2 since it's the boss monster for the deck by dropping either Gary or Hound. While this card has material, it can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of materials attached to it. When your opponent activates a card or effect, you can attach one material from this card, then activate this effect depending on whose turn it is. If it's your turn, you can then banish one card each from your opponent's field and graveyard. And if it's your opponent's turn, you can look at your opponent's hand and banish one card from it face up until the end phase. And then to close out the rest of the extra deck, we have Zeus. I feel like Zeus is mandatory in pretty much any Xyz deck. We have the Superstar Slayer. If you don't have it or don't want it, like I said, you could probably drop this and add anything else in here. And then we have one SP Little Knight, which seems to be a staple for this deck. So that's it for the KR9 deck. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, go ahead, leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road to 500. And down in the comments below, let me know how you like playing your canines. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one. Later.